Hi, welcome to Uptime. I'm Carl Honore, voice of the slow movement. What is the slow movement? Well, it's a reaction against our fast-forward roadrunner culture, where every moment of our day has become a race against the clock, a dash to a finish line that we never ever seem to reach. Many of us, of all ages, are racing through our lives instead of actually living them. The slow movement is the antidote to this problem. Slow, the philosophy of slow, is not about doing everything at a snail's pace. That would be absurd. It would be preposterous. I'm not an extremist of slowness. I love speed, right? Faster is often better. We all know that. But not always. And that's the key to this slow culture quake. Slow with a capital S is about doing everything at the right speed. Understanding that, sure, there are times to be fast, but there are also times to slow things down, and that there are lots of different speeds, rhythms, paces, tempos, and cadences to play with in between. Slow ultimately is a mindset. It's quality over quantity. It's doing things mindfully, being present and in the moment. Ultimately, slow is about doing things not as fast as possible, but as well as possible. I think when we get stuck in fast forward, it often takes a shock to the system or wake-up call, something to make us realize that we've forgotten how to slow down and that this is doing us real harm. For many people, that wake-up call comes in the form of an illness. The body just one day says, that's it, can't take it anymore, and you have a burnout. My wake-up call came when I started reading bedtime stories to my son. And back in those days, I just couldn't slow down. So I'd go into his room at the end of the day and speed read Snow White, right? Skipping lines, paragraphs. I became an expert in what I called the multiple page turn technique, which never worked, of course, because my son knew all the stories back to front, so we were always at loggerheads. And I knew this was wrong, but I couldn't slow down. And then I caught myself flirting with buying a book I'd heard about called The 1 Minute Bedtime Story. So Snow White in 60 seconds. And I caught myself thinking, hallelujah, really good idea. I need that book now from Amazon, drone delivery. But then I had a second thought, which is, whoa, does it really come to this? Am I really in such a hurry that I'm prepared to fob off my son with a soundbite at the end of the day, right? My version of Snow White had 3 dwarves in it. My son would say, what happened to Grumpy? And I realized then that I just lost my compass, and I started realizing that I needed to reconnect with my inner tortoise, and that's where it all started for me. There are so many benefits to slowing down, right? For a start, you have more energy, you're less burned out, you've got more vim, vigor, more get up and go. You're also more creative. There's an intimate bond between slowing down, slowness, and creativity. You become more productive at work. You get more done in less time, what I think of as the delicious paradox of slow. You make fewer mistakes. You enjoy your life more. There's more pleasure to be had because you're focusing on each thing, doing one thing at a time, giving it your full attention, all your energy. And whether it's eating a piece of toast in the morning, or going for a walk with your partner, or even filling in a report at work, everything just becomes more alive, more textured. It's got more detail. I think your life moves from black and white to technicolor because you're there in the moment, living it fully. Whether it's a friendship or falling in love, these things have a natural, slow arc to them. You cannot, no matter how much of a rush you're in, you cannot forge a friendship faster because you need someone to backpack around Asia with you next week, right? It just doesn't work that way. You can't download team spirit in a company because you have a big project to manage tomorrow. These things take time. They require slowness. And I think one of the things you notice, and I noticed this myself, is that once you slow down, you're more with people. Those connections become deeper, richer, more fulfilling, whether it's a love relationship with your children or a partner or friends or just people in the street. If you have any questions, feel free to send them in through Uptime and I will answer them.